Thank you. Let's be seated, please. Thank you, Program Director. Chairperson of the South African Human Rights Commission, Professor Bongani Majola, and the Deputy Chairperson of the Human Rights Commission, and commissioners who are part of the Human Rights Commission, Minister Kubai, and heads of various Chapter 9 institutions who are here, and heads of various government institutions as well, who are continuously seized with the challenges that we have to deal with in our country and various aspects of the life of our people, and leaders of various civil society organizations. And I see a galaxy of so many of you here. It's wonderful to be in your presence. And the President of SAHRC, and representatives from departments of cooperative governance and traditional affairs, and representatives of various other government departments, and colleagues and friends. It's a real joy to be amongst you, as well as to see members of Parliament also in our midst here. I'd like to applaud the South African Human Rights Commission for convening this conference. It's a very important initiative to deal with the issues of accountability, service delivery, and human rights in the local government space. The Human Rights Commission has taken up an issue that in many ways is the litmus test of our commitment as a nation to advance, uphold, and entrench human rights in our society. The Burkinabe revolutionary, Amilcar Cabral, and many of us will remember what he once said, when he said, we must always remember and bear in mind that the people are not fighting for ideas. They are not fighting for the thoughts in anyone's head. They are fighting to win material benefits, to live better, and to live in peace, and to see their lives go forward, to guarantee the future of their children. That's what he said many years ago. Now, this sentiment, rooted in the concept of human dignity, in many ways guided the drafters of our Constitution in arriving at the Bill of Rights that we have, a Bill of Rights that underpins our constitutional order. One of the most progressive aspects of our Bill of Rights is that it guarantees not just political and cultural freedoms, but as you correctly said, Professor Majola, it also guarantees socio-economic rights. And as we drafted the Constitution, we saw that as an important departure from the ugly past that our country had been dragged through for more than 340 years. It enjoins the state to achieve the progressive realization of rights such as healthcare, education, food and water, to housing, and to social security. It so happens that one of the foundational constitutional decisions or judgments that was made by the Constitutional Court right at the beginning revolved precisely around this. It recognizes the rights of all to an environment that is not harmful to their health and to their well-being. In many respects, local government is one of the most important custodians of the socio-economic rights of the people of South Africa. Efficient and affordable service delivery could mark the difference between leading a life of dignity as promised by our Constitution and the life of squalor, misery, and deprivation. When local government works, when basic services such as water, sanitation, education, electrification, and healthcare are distributed and provided efficiently and equitably, people's quality of life is improved, businesses thrive, economies grow, and the dignity of our people is assured. When local government delivery fails, the impact is direct and devastating, and it immediately has an overarching impact negatively on the lives of our people where they live. It is therefore deeply disturbing that recent reports from the Auditor General, from the National Treasury, and from COCTA itself show that the majority of our municipalities are failing. The National Treasury classifies 2/3 of South Africa's 257 municipalities as being in financial distress, with only 41 receiving clean audits in the past financial year. What this means is that many of our municipalities are unable to deliver basic services and are unable to build and upgrade clinics, hospitals, and fix roads. And as we have embarked on a major pothole closing project, we are finding that the majority of our potholes in our country are in local government precincts. Political contestation and infighting, lack of skills, failure to adhere to legislative prescripts, poor governance, lack of accountability, as well as what I would call super corruption, are causing instability in municipalities and are eroding the provision of services to ordinary South Africans. This is a crisis. It's a crisis of enormous proportions. Continuing along the current trajectory is neither viable nor sustainable, as I think the president of SAHRC said, even though I was not here. It undermines the constitutional promise of human dignity. It threatens economic growth and investment. It is a threat to our constitutional order. Because local government is in many ways the most important sphere of government, because it operates where our people live, it operates where businesses invest, and it operates in a sphere where the basic human rights of our people need to be actualized. The rise in service delivery protests, many of which turn violent are a barometer of public dissatisfaction with the non-delivery of services. Now this also gets worse because it then is extended also to public servants. I just heard, and maybe I should have seen it in the news, that we have public servants protesting for wage increases in the Eastern Cape, in the Amatole municipality. They're protesting. They want wage increases. And what do? They go and break water installation as they are protesting for wages. And now they go and destroy public infrastructure which delivers water to ordinary people of Amatole municipality. And the people of Amatole municipality are now going to protest themselves because they do not have service delivery, and an act which would have been caused by the very public servants who are meant to serve them. Now, although the reasons for protests are varied, social and economic dynamics play a part in causing people to be unhappy and resorting to protests. The high unemployment rate that exists in our country, the municipal governance and issues, many other issues play a role in getting people to protest. We are categorically, and we must say categorically, we have to say that much as people have grievances, there is just no one who has the right to resort to arson, to looting, to violence, and to damage property, public property, when they are expressing their dissatisfaction with whatever may be a problem to them. We are alive to the reality that failures of local government are widening the trust deficit between government and the citizenry of our country. Unless these are remedied, we run the risk that the people of South Africa will become disillusioned with democracy itself. And we have already seen signs of it. When they stay away from exercising their most important basic right, which is the right to vote, it is a vote of no confidence also in democracy. It should at the same time be acknowledged that achieving financial viability and the sustainability of municipalities cannot be realized in an environment where non-payment for services, both by residents and businesses, has become entrenched. Yes, Program Director, you are right, echoing what the President of SAHRC also said, that we need to look at the architecture of the financing of local government. But at the same time, we also need to deal with the other attendant problems of non-payment. One of the issues to which we hope this conference will give serious attention to is assisting our municipalities to develop social compacts with residents to entrench a culture of payment for services. And I know that SAHRC, which represents local government in our country, is fairly strong on this. By the same token, communities need to feel they have a vested interest in seeing their municipalities working. This will go a long way towards overcoming problems such as the theft and the vandalism of public infrastructure that we see happening all around. While good governance is a prerequisite for efficient local government, facilitating access to local communities, to local municipal decision-making is essential to participatory democracy. The ideal municipality is a municipality that is accessible, a municipality that provides opportunities for public engagement and communicates in a manner that is considerate of local needs with respect to things like, for instance, language and media platforms. In an ideal municipality, customer care and feedback management systems are functional and implemented efficiently. In an ideal municipality, local government has regular outreach programs with communities on matters affecting development and continues to consult various stakeholders such as NGOs in the precinct, community-based organizations, business organizations, educational organizations or bodies, and so forth. And it is a municipality that will work hand in glove with structures such as community policing forums, yes, with the police, and work with all the other state structures that exist in the locality. Such cooperative relationships strengthen governance and contribute towards building capacity in communities. And that is when communities feel that they are involved in the lives of the life of their own community, but at the same time they know what government is doing. Our foremost aspiration is for citizens to be partners in their own development. It should be a process where everything is transparent. It's put up for the community to see what is happening. When a service is provided, it should be known who provides this service and at what price, and what the citizens of the municipality are meant to be paying for a particular service. If there are to be tenders, that too should be made known. Now, we have a problem where some municipalities in our country outsource everything. Everything is outsourced, from the provision of water bottles right through to cutting grass. And they still retain the employees who are meant to do that work in the municipality, but then outsource that to other players or entities or companies outside, and then they double pay. They pay to those they have outsourced to, they continue paying to those who have been employed. And those who have been employed find that the rug has been pulled from underneath their feet and they sit, twiddle their thumbs and do nothing. And those to whom services have been outsourced at an exorbitant price, they just cream it off. Now, this is part of the architecture or process that we need to look at. And it is through the district development model that we introduced in 2019, through which we aim to integrate and coordinate planning, economic development, and service provision at local government level, that we can make progress in dealing with some of these inherent problems in local government. This model is about targeted development that takes the needs of local communities into account. And that makes sure that there is regular engagement and public participation. During the course of this year, I've held presidential imbizos in Northwest, Free State, Mpumalanga, and Gauteng. During these engagements, I was reminded that community involvement is at the very heart of governance, and that partnerships are essential to driving development. Through what we call it the DDM, We are doing away with the so-called parachute development process, where projects are conceptualized kilometers away from where the municipality is, and important factors like the creation of local jobs and local enterprise development are not prioritized. We have seen the detrimental impact of parachute development over the years, with important projects being stalled, subject to litigation, and even sabotaged. By applying an integrated approach, the district development model brings different spheres of government together with communities, but also with other players like business. Yesterday, I was addressing a meeting of the Business Unity South Africa, and I called upon them as business to get involved at the local government sphere, because that is where their investments take place, and engage with the municipality on an ongoing basis and various other role players at the local government level. Now, despite the significant challenges facing local government, the implementation of customized municipal support and improvement programs by the Department of Cooperative Governance is yielding some positive outcomes. Now, these programs focus on putting people first, delivering services to the right quality and standard, and advancing good governance and sound financial management. Now, according to the latest State of Local Government report, the number of stable municipalities has increased from 16 to 31 across the country. Now, that may not be a great figure, but there is movement in a positive way, with KwaZulu-Natal registering the most improvements, followed by Northwest. Now, this is incremental progress that we must build on from a broken system and rebuild it, reposition it, and recalibrate it. We work to overcome the systemic challenges facing local government by mobilizing support from sector departments, using the district development model approach, and by developing as well as implementing and monitoring municipal support and intervention plans. Now, municipalities are now on our radar screen more than ever before. You are absolutely right that I have said I want a dashboard at the office, or the President's office in the union buildings, so that one can see at one glance precisely what is happening throughout the country through our 257 municipalities. We're also working, and we are moving forward with deploying multidisciplinary teams to support municipalities, as we are doing now in KwaZulu-Natal and Gauteng and the Western Cape. The National Treasury and COCTA, in collaboration with SAHRC, have also developed municipal key performance indicators for local government that are being implemented by all our municipalities. The new Local Government Municipal Systems Amendment Act is an important tool for improving the manner in which our municipalities function and the manner in which they should become accountable. Among other things, the Act disallows municipal officials from holding political office. It defines constituency criteria for the appointment of municipal managers and strengthens the framework for performance evaluation as well. I'm sure that Deputy Minister Kekana did speak about this yesterday when she came here. It is our expectation that this seminal conference will enable us to move beyond diagnosis to solutions, and beyond that to implementation. As the Constitutional Court said in a 1997 judgment, we live in a society in which there are great disparities in wealth in our country. Millions of people live in deplorable conditions and in great poverty. There is a high level of unemployment, inadequate social security, and many people do not have access to clean water or to adequate health services. These conditions already existed when the Constitution was adopted, and a commitment to address them and to transform our society into one in which there will be human dignity, freedom, and equality lies at the heart of our new constitutional order. For as long as these conditions continue to exist, that aspiration will have a hollow ring, close quote, as the Constitutional Court said. Now, as we approach 30 years of democracy, the time for asking ourselves questions about the mismatch between aspiration and reality is over. Our focus must be on what must be done. And I'm finding that quite a number of key players in the municipal place, some of them be they mayors and other officials, are beginning to ask themselves that. And as they get into positions, they're beginning to see, to look at what needs to be done. I talk of a municipal mayor in one of our provinces who, on being appointed, found that all the services in the municipality that he was meant to run had been outsourced to six key players. And I think they call them the big six. Everything had been outsourced to them. And on a monthly basis, they were earning millions and millions of rands. And as I was saying, the people who had been employed by the municipality to do many of those functions continued to be employed and largely doing nothing. And as he looked very closely at what these contracts were all about that had been outsourced, he found that the municipality was being overcharged, in certain instances to up to 200%. And he went on to examine even the invoices and found that the overcharging was just enormous. Where the municipality was supposed to pay 20,000 rand, it was paying 200,000 rand every month. And he is one of those that are scattered throughout our country who are beginning to change the trajectory of our municipalities, and decided that those contracts will be re-examined and if need be cancelled. And the municipality was taken to court a number of times, and he's been able to ensure that the reduction of the costs that the municipality has been paying has been reduced by almost 60 to 70%. Meaning that the rot that had set in that municipality is now being turned around. And this conference, in my view, needs to focus on stuff like that. You've got people from various non-governmental organizations who know what is happening in our municipalities. And it is through the deliberations that should take place here that we should be able to get that wisdom, Professor, that you were talking about. The wisdom should come from those who are closest to what is happening at the municipal level. And in fulfillment of its mandate, the South African Human Rights Commission, having convened all these stakeholders to deliberate on the work that needs to be done in this critical sphere of government, I would urge that you come up with learnings, come up with solutions, come up with proposals that we can propagate throughout the local government system as we as government continue to do the best from the legislative point of view as well as from the executive point of view. And in doing so, you will be able to add to what needs to be done. The work that is being done by this mayor I spoke about and many others who, having taken up their positions, are now beginning to turn local government around and beginning to look very introspectively at what has been done in the past. And that is where, as was said earlier, the trajectory of what we have done in the past needs to be looked at and to be changed. Local government in our country needs a massive, massive review. We also need to ensure that those who are deployed there recommit themselves to the values of our Constitution, and those who get involved in malfeasance and corruption are rooted out. And that local government accounts to the people of our country at the level at which local government functions. This mayor informs me that with the number of changes that have now ensued, which they have introduced, the people of that municipality willingly and happily come to public meetings that are held. And the public meetings are held regularly to report back on the progress the municipality is making to clean up. And the people of the municipality are delighted, and they come up with a number of tales, stories, accounts of the toil and suffering that they have been going through. And he says they don't even need to be bused to come to meetings. They walk to meetings because they are so enthusiastic about what is happening in their local government space now. It is this type of change that we want to see. And it is this type of change that this conference should advocate. And in many ways, it is this type of message that should come from this conference that will strengthen the hand of those who are key actors in the local government space. And in doing so, you will be able to make a contribution as the South African Human Rights Commission, which obviously you continue to do. And I want to end on applauding you as the South African Human Rights Commission on the excellent focus that you've been showing. You did say, Professor, that one of the key areas that you focus on is service delivery. And it is in this regard that we would want to continue urging the South African Human Rights Commission to continue with this work. And from our side as government, we will continue to support you, much as you must also monitor us. You must continue examining precisely what we do as government. Where we fail and fell short, do speak out. Do come up with your findings so that we can continue correcting our ways, both at national, provincial, and at local government level. This is our shared responsibility to improve the lives of the people of our country. And we are delighted that your commission is executing this task with the type of focus and commitment that you are showing. And I'm sure that beyond this conference, a number of ideas will have come through so that we are able to improve local government. I will be addressing our mayors in a few days or so. And the learnings from this conference, I'd like to look at very closely so that we can actually go and pass on some of the learnings that will have come from this conference to the mayors. And I'm delighted that this time around this year, our focus on local government is intensifying to strengthen the hand of those who are doing the right things, but intensifying as to terrify those who are doing the wrong things, to show them that we are going to have a radar focus on what happens in local government, because we have to change the trajectory of our local government so that we can deliver a better life to our people and leave no one behind. Thank you very much.
Thank you, President, and thank you for helping me recover my time. I'm always scared when people from government, especially the President, always but thank you, President, for recovering our time. I'm going to call upon full-time Commissioner of the South African Human Rights Commission, Ms. Philile Ntuli, to take us through a vote of thanks, because after all, the President is a busy person.